Hey everyone, it's Adam here from AR Models. How's it going, everybody? We're here today with another day out. We're here at Duxford, as you guys can tell. You can probably tell I'm at Duxford. Here we are. Today I'm not here to do a day out video because it's 5:30. But today I am here to talk about an event tonight that I've booked in for. I do apologise for the wind and the messy hair. I've come on the motorbike. I'm alone. I'm solo today, so unfortunately Noodle couldn't be with me, or Katie, as you lot know her as. Noodle's my nickname for her, but that's not important. I've arrived literally now. It's 5:30. I tried to get up here today a bit earlier, but I had a bit of motorcycle trouble. Yeah, not good. But I'm here now. I've got half an hour before the event begins. Tonight's event is a open cockpits evening and a photo shoot opportunity in the Airspace hangar. So I'll be getting inside aircraft such as the Lancaster, the Tornado, etc, etc. There's a list in my bag of what's open. I've completely forgot. I've rushed up here all day. But we're going to go into the flying aircraft hangar now and see what we can find. So I'll try and get what I can in. So let's go. Here we are, guys. We're inside the flying aircraft hangar. These are all the aircraft that will appear mostly at the Flying Legends Air Show. That's the Hawker Sea Fury there, T20, which has had its engine recently replaced and has been doing flying tests. If you follow Duxford on the Friends of Duxford page, or just the Imperial War Museum page, on Facebook you'll be able to see video clips of that running and flying. The Corsair we've got here, we've got the Hawker Fury. My apologies guys, my phone rang. Yeah, what was I? We've got the Hawker Fury here. No, my mistake, Hawker Nimrod. Got the Corsair. Got the P36 and the Bearcat over the back there. So Harvard. Here we go, we have the Sally B. I'm actually about to be turfed out of the hangar, so I'm apologising, no footage. We've got the Sally B here, the only B-17 left in Europe, along with the de Havilland Dragon Rapide. And a Spitfire over there, that's all good stuff. Got the PBY Catalina there as well. And over here we have a Harvard, a Chipmunk, a Spitfire 22 I think, another Chipmunk, WK5 something. Another Harvard at the back there, Harvard over there, Mark 5 over there, and a Messerschmitt BF 108. In the other hangar we also have a Spitfire, a Bode Fighter, I'll try and get them on the way past, a Kitty Hawk, a Mustang. There's quite a few in there. We'll go and take a look now. Anyway, I do apologise for the lack of footage. Like I said, we're here for the main event, so that's no biggie. I'll see you guys outside. Or not. Yep. I'll quickly run the camera past now. Here we go. Kitty Hawk. Couple of cars. And the Bowfire. Right, I'll see you in the other hangar. Here we are guys, the tour has started now. From what I now remember, the aircraft available are a Spitfire, the Sunderland, Lancaster, Hastings, Tornado. I think that's it. Obviously we'll run around. I'm not probably going to take photos rather than videos of the cockpit stuff. There are other people around. There's quite a few people who've turned up actually. But I'm going to get some photos of some better photos now of some of the aircraft in here for you guys to put in the video. And in any of my other videos for model builds, which I have got some more coming up soon. So let's go and take a look around. Okay, we're going to start off a little tour with a Spitfire Mark 24. This is VN485. This is a Mark 24 Spitfire. This aircraft served for the RAF in 1947 It was delivered to the number 80 Squadron, Flyers of Hong Kong. In 1953, it was then delivered to the Hong Kong Auxiliary Air Force, and then it was brought to Duxford. Sorry, it was brought to Duxford in 1989, where it was restored, refurbished, and here it stands today. Okay, this here is the Avalanche Mark 1. This is N4877, which was delivered to the RAF in November 1938. The aircraft then went on to serve through the whole war with the Air Transport Auxiliary Corps. The aircraft was then sold in 1950 to the Derby Aviation Company before being bought by the London Flying School. The aircraft was given to Duxford in 1978 and has been restored since. Okay, here's something a bit rare. We're in front of the Lancaster. You can't see it very well because of my reflection. But this is a replica of a navigator and wireless operator station on a Lancaster. Again, you cannot see it, I do apologise. Let's try. You might be able to see that a bit better than I usually can from the other side. There we go. And there you go. Complete with a little ring on top. This was all the signals that come through. Behind me here is a Avro Lancaster. This is KB889, which was one of 430 Lancasters built by the Canadians in Moulton in Canada, and was built in 1944 and was delivered to the RAF in 1945. This aircraft flew with 428 Squadron from that time, and after the war ended, in the same year it was sent back to Canada in 1945, and in 1951 it was converted to air sea operations. In 1959 it was converted to Navy reconnaissance operations. Then it was sold in 1961. It was acquired by Duxford in 1986. Duxford have restored it back to its original wartime specs, and here it stands, still in the markings of 428 Squadron. As I referred to earlier, this is a Canadian-built Lancaster. The most recognisable difference is the mid-upper turret there. Usually on a RAF Lancaster, anything British-built Lancasters, you can see this small cutout here around the turret. That would be a raised panel section which would cover the turret a little better. I'm not sure if it was armament, or I'm not sure for streamlining, and the turret would sit just a little bit higher. This is probably one of the main differences, that plus the extra air cool vent there. But let's go and have a look inside. Whilst I have the opportunity, I'm also going to take a scary look at the amount of bombs these things could carry. As I took a couple of pictures of the bomb bay a second ago, which you guys will see in a minute. All these things in the crates are incendiary bombs, usually for city bombing, fire bombing. You've got the 500-pound bombs, the 1,000-pound bombs, and the cookie bomb over there. So I can't get around there very well. And there's also around here one of Barnes Wallace's famous downbuster bouncing bombs, Upkeep, this one was called, along with a couple of Kaufman starting trolleys, which Lancasters were fitted with. Obviously up there, the beautiful Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. These are Packard-built engines, which are built under licence by Rolls-Royce but built in Canada. But they are fantastic engines on such a fantastic aircraft. Here we go, guys. This is interesting. This is the interior of a Avro Lancaster. I've actually managed to get inside, obviously with the big help of the crew. This is the forward fuselage looking up to the cockpit. Obviously just there we've got the mid-upper turret. The zoom is going to be pretty terrible. I can't get any further than this, I'm afraid. It's the bar. But back there is the cockpit. This is absolutely fantastic. There's actually two windows there, just there for viewing, see if they could look out into the bomb bay, check everything. There's a ladder, all sorts in here. And if we go down this way, this is a view of the rear turret, where some poor soul had sitting there for 6 up to 8 hours per mission. All I had to hang his parachute on that little door there. Just next to this door, he had to hang his parachute. He couldn't fit in the turret with the parachute on. So if the aircraft was going down, he had a nightmare getting out. But no, this is absolutely amazing. And I'll get some photos for you guys as well. Now let's go take a look around. So we're just about to leave Lancaster here. Didn't realise the amount of things that the company has kept, that Duxford have kept in the restoration of the aircraft. There's a fire axe, there's ladders for getting around, everything's intact, all the wall wiring, cameras, first aid boxes, everything in it. I've tried to keep everything true to detail, and they really have succeeded in doing that. And for one, I'm very impressed at the fact I've finally been inside a Lancaster. That'd be well jealous. Anyway, let's go take a look around. A big thank you to the staff at Duxford for organising this event and giving everyone here a rare opportunity to see inside some of these amazing aircraft. Okay, behind me here is a Westland Lysander. Only kidding. Up there is Westland Lysander. Sorry, it's going to be a horrible camera angle. This is Lysander V9300. This aircraft was built in 1939 and served with the RAF and Royal Canadian Air Force during the war. In 1942 it was converted to a target tug and served with the No. 2 Bombing and Gunnery School in Canada until 1946. It was then acquired by the British Aerial Museum in 1982 and then arrived at Duxford in 1989. This aircraft has been fitted out as a special duties Lysander, just like the one up at the Shotworth collection, even based around the same squadron. MAJ this is, which was nicknamed Jiminy Cricket. The aircraft carries a wing tank, underbelly fuel tank, and a ladder for special duty operations. Let's go check something else out because it hurts this angle. This is a Fairy Swordfish. It was a Second World War torpedo bomber. The aircraft in question here is NF370, which was built by Blackburn Aircraft and delivered to the Royal Navy in April 1944. It was then transferred to No. 119 Squadron in January 1945, and this flew anti-shipping missions from England and Belgium. It specialised in night operations, which is why it's black, because obviously black blends in with night. The Swordfish returned to the Royal Navy in 1946 and was given to the Imperial War Museum in 1952. It was then moved to Duxford in 1986, with the same year as the Lancaster, I think. Apologies if that's wrong. It has been painted back in its 1945 colour scheme, which was still black. Yeah, they nicknamed the aircraft the String Bag, obviously because of its variance to a First World War aircraft, of example of a Sopwith Pup or Camel, and nicknamed String Bags. A lot of people didn't actually think they'd be very successful, but these things were so successful at their job. This aircraft here is a short Sunderland, Mark III, I think. Apologies if that's wrong. This is ML796, which was a production Mark V, my apologies, which was built in February 1945. It was retained at the Rochester Works as a test aircraft until the end of the war. In March 1946, it was dispatched to number 201 Squadron, and in July 1946, it was on the strength, so basically given to number 4 Squadron, which was a training unit in Scotland. It was withdrawn from RAF service in 1949 and was sold to the French Navy in 1951, and was operated in West Africa till 1960. The aircraft was then sold in 1965, and it was converted into a nightclub in Western France, and it was acquired by the Peer War Museum in Duxford. Well, Peer War was here in Duxford in 1976, has been here in I'm sorry, I cannot speak, and has been restored since. So now we're going to go and take a look on board. Let's see. Here we are inside the short Sunderland. I do apologise, it's a bit noisy in here. On the sides here we have Browning machine gun emplacements. Obviously this is where the crew would stand, they'd have ammunition fed to them. Sorry. Back through the top there will be the cockpit, where the man is standing. This one we're going to do a couple of parts. We'll try and have a look round. They used to nickname the Sunderland the Flying Porcupine. So we have some crew rest bunks here. I do apologise, I have no light whatsoever. Oh, hang on. If you bear with me 1 second. We have a light now. We have crew bunks. Let's go take a look up. Is that the tail turret straight back?
Yeah, that's the
rear
turret. You can go as far as that. Not mind your step, mind your head.
Thank you. Here we're walking up the tail of the Sunderland to the rear turret. Oh, it's a bit tight. Okay, this is the rear turret of the Sunderland. So this is where it will be operated from. 4 30 caliber machine guns. With its operating system just here. Just like a Lancaster, the turret was closed up behind. And the poor bloke had to sit in the turret, had to store his parachute there. Oof. Oof. I'm trying to walk a tightrope. Excuse me, sorry. Just drop down a couple of steps. We're now in the bomb bay of the Sunderland. The two doors on either side would be open, just like that. And obviously the bomb racks will be cranked out by hand. Oh, this really is annoying. Here are some of the equipment carried by the Sunderland. Which I've got a radio unit, a suitcase for a dullies, one of the winches, and some radio equipment. I actually have a Type 12 scanning unit here as well. Go on. Window sections. The aircraft actually also come with a full kitchen. Everything. Oh, we can't get up there now. Hey? Can we get up there at all?
Not at the moment.
Here are the living section. This would be a crew rest area. Where obviously the crew would sleep and eat. The aircraft comes standard with a folding table. That's a standard. And the beds actually do look surprisingly comfy. And through here we go to the front of the aircraft. There's no lighting, I'm afraid. I will take some pictures. But this is the front of the aircraft.
As long as you stay on the deck.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I've just been told where I can and can't go. Obviously in the front here we've got the Browning machine guns, which would be fired out the front. There's also be the winch room where the aircraft will be moored from. Sorry, it's very dark. I've got the open front door. We're going to go and try and take a look on the upper deck in a minute. This aircraft unfortunately is too big to get into shot. This is a handy page Hastings. This is TG528 and was built in October 1948. It was the 30th Hastings C1 to be delivered to the RAF. The aircraft served with several RAF squadrons, including 47 and 24 Squadron, and it carried cargo of coal to Tegel during the Berlin airlift, and it was updated by enlarging its fuel capacity and upgrading its systems. This made it a Mark C1A, and it ended its service with number 24 Squadron. In 1968 it joined the Skyfame collection in Gloucestershire. It was acquired by Duxford in 1979 and has been repainted in its own colours when it was with the RAF Transport Command Squadron. I do apologise, it is just way too big to get into shot, so I'm going to do a param. You can do a look round here. Here we go, guys. This is the interior of a Hastings. Hastings is a passenger / transport aircraft. You're right. Bit of an angle, isn't it?
Yeah, as soon as you're going back. That's about as far forward as you can go there, sir.
Yeah, just about here, yeah?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Oh yeah, with the dials and stuff.
That's it, yeah.
Here, the cockpit of the Hastings. So the Hastings was a transport aircraft?
Yes.
Transport, yeah.
Yeah.
So the radio operated section.
It is worth the climb.
Small wash basin behind me. I can't get any further than this, I'm afraid, due to dials being radioactive. The aircraft we have here is a de Havilland Mark 9. This was a bomber / fighter. The aircraft is D5649 and was built by the furniture manufacturer Waring and Gillow in London in 1917. The aircraft was intended for assignment to number 110 Squadron, number 110 Squadron as a training machine, but it was never used, but instead placed into storage. In the early 1930s, it was one of 3 de Havilland 9s transferred under the Imperial Gift Scheme to Ganga Singhji Maharaja of the state of Bikaner in Western India. The aircraft we see here has been restored to its original factory condition. Here we go, this is a First World War de Havilland 9. I do apologise for my last clip. It was a bomber and reconnaissance aircraft. Fitted with, I'm not sure if that's a Lewis or a Maxim gun. I do apologise if anyone knows in the comments. Please drop one. Drop a comment and let me know. God, look at the seat belts. That is awesome. Got some single machine gun frontways. I was actually just speaking, obviously, as I read out in the last clip. The aircraft was shipped to India just towards the end of the First World War, and the aircraft was found in very, very bad condition. Duxford actually now have 2 of these aircraft, and one is airworthy, which hopefully they will have flying this year, which will be really interesting to see. Anyway, I'm going to end this here. I'm going to take some stills for you guys as well. Okay, what we have here, this is a de Havilland Comet, and if you're watching this noodle, this is not the de Havilland Comet you're thinking of, which is the de Havilland 88 she's thinking of, but getting off track. This is a de Havilland Comet. This is the very first jet airliner of passengers. This aircraft is in its BOAC markings. It recently flew, well, it used to fly for Malaysian Airlines and Dan Air. The aircraft registration is GAPDB and made its first eastbound crossing of the Atlantic in 1958. Later that year, it was given to the Duke of Edinburgh and it became his personal aircraft in a Royal Tour of Canada. After serving with Malaysian Singapore Airlines, it was given to Dan Air in 1969 and was given to Duxford from Dan Air in 1973. The aircraft was restored, and apparently, after looking through its logs, during its flying career, it flew over 36,269 hours flying, and has since been restored to its original BOAC condition. The aircraft is absolutely huge, and it's amazing. A lot of these aircraft did have some issues with windows. There was actually a report of a few having, I think it was 1 or 2, actually exploding in mid-flight due to pressure issues with the windows. This was the aircraft that had the square windows. They were changed to port windows like these, and everything seems a lot better now. But let's continue looking around. This is a Panivia Tornado GR1. I do apologise, it is not a GR3. This aircraft is ZA465, which was built by BAE Systems at Warton in Lancashire. It was delivered to the RAF in October 1983 and served with number 16 Squadron. Because of its code letter FK, the aircraft was nicknamed Foxy Killer. It flew 44 bombing missions in the Gulf War in 1991, which was the highest number of any tornado. It was acquired by the Imperial War Museum and Ryde at Duxford on the 25th of October 2001. We shall go and have a look inside it, as it is one of the aircraft that are open this evening. Here we go, guys. We have the top cockpit of a Panivia Tornado GR3, I think. It's a GR3. I do apologise if it's not. It is amazing the amount of technology that's inside this thing. So I can't get past to see the rear seat. So I'll just that front seat will have to do. It's all fitted out with radars and all sorts of doohickeys. This is the Avro Vulcan Mark II, or B2, my mistake. The Avro Vulcan was a heavy bomber, delta wing bomber. It was primarily used for carrying nuclear weapons, before being used as a conventional bomber. This Vulcan is XJ824, which served with number 27 and 230 Squadron in the 1960s. before being moved to RAF Scampton with 230 Squadron. It was then moved to Cyprus for several years doing practice bombing before being moved back to RAF Waddington with number 21 Squadron. The aircraft was then acquired by Duxford in 1982 and was restored and has remained on display with Duxford since. Now this is an English Electric Lightning F1. This Lightning is XM135, and surprisingly, interestingly, was the second production Lightning. It served with the Air Fighting Development Unit at RAF Colletshall, Norfolk for 3 years. It then joined number 74 Squadron and served until 1964 as part of the Fighter Command Aerobatic Team. After a period of storage and maintenance, it joined the RAF Luch's Target Facilities Flight in Fifeshire. The aircraft then joined number 60 Maintenance Squad Unit until 1971 and was given to Duxford in 1974. It actually flew into Duxford. It's such a mean looking aircraft from the front, this really is. In 1966, an RAF engineer, Wing Commander Taff Holden, accidentally flew the aircraft while carrying out a ground test. He inadvertently activated the aircraft's afterburners and was forced to take off. He was able to land it safely. Basically, he was just doing some ground tests with it and accidentally started up the afterburners, which forced it to take off. It shot up into the air. Luckily, he managed to land it perfectly. And it was acquired by Duxford, restored or repainted, and here it stands. Now, this scary looking thing is a British Aircraft Corporation TSR-2. TSR-2 was built as a strategic nuclear bomber like the Vulcan, but with the ability to fly at twice the speed sound like a Concorde. This aircraft is XR222. This was the fourth TSR-2 on the production line. It was nearly completed when the project was unfortunately cancelled due to budget cuts and funds. The aircraft was used by the Cranfield Institute of Technology for study until 1978 when it was given to Duxford. There were only There were 5 aircraft completed, 5 TSR-2s completed, and unfortunately 3 of them were scrapped. And this is one of the only, there are 2 left in the world. This is one of the only ones. The other one, I think I know where it is. I think the other TSR-2 is in the RF Museum in Cosford. It is a shame that the project was cancelled. To be honest, if you ask me, it does resemble a Jaguar slightly. Jaguar fighter, which we shall go and look at in a few minutes. This aircraft above me, I'm sorry I can't get a better shot of it, is the English Electric Canberra. Now, the Canberra was the first British jet bomber to enter service with the RAF. This aircraft is WH-725. This aircraft joined number 15 Squadron in January 1953 and served with the RAF in Coningsby in Lincolnshire, and in Cottesmore, and in Rutland and Hollington in Suffolk. In July 1955 it was transferred to number 50 Squadron, first at Binbrook, Lincolnshire, and then upward Hastings. It was withdrawn from frontline service in April 1958 and stored with number 12 Maintenance Unit. It was acquired by the Imperial War Museum in 1972. This aircraft here is a Miles Magister. This aircraft is Golf Alpha Foxtrot Bravo Sierra and was built in 1937 as a Miles Hawk Trainer Mark III. It was then operated at Woodley Airfield, Reading, by number 8 Elementary and Reserve Flying Training School. Later it was used by the RAF for the duration of the Second World War and was given the RAF serial BB661 and was sold off in 1948. After a post-war flying career, the aircraft joined the Skyfame collection at Staverton, Gloucestershire in 1965 and was then acquired by Duxford in 1978. The aircraft above me here, I'm sure anyone here would ever recognise, is a Hawker Siddeley Harrier. This aircraft is a Harrier GR3, he said Hurricane, my mistake. and this is XZ133, which is a Falklands War veteran. The aircraft served in the Falklands War with No. 1 Fighter Squadron, and it made a non-stop ferry flight of over 8 hours from Ascension Island. It was refuelled 7 times in flight. In June 1982, it flew at least 9 missions from the aircraft carrier HMS Hermes. And at the forward airstrip of the Port San Carlos to attack Argentine positions. On the 11th of June over Mount Lojnan, an Argentine surface-to-air missile exploded just 30 metres above its cockpit. The aircraft ended its service career in Germany and was given to the museum in 1992. A little known fact, I've actually just been told by one of the staff members, this aircraft actually has a cardboard cutout behind its cockpit to basically represent the engine. The engine is actually here. So that's quite funny actually. But yeah, that's the Harrier. And from the sexy Harrier to an even sexier aircraft, the GR1 Jaguar. This aircraft is XX108 and was the first British production Jaguar. It first flew in October 1972, and it was then moved to the Defence Test and Evaluation Organisation at Boscombe Down, where it was used as a test aircraft. In 1999, it was transferred to BAE Systems and used as a development aircraft for the Ardua engine. It was acquired by Duxford in 2003 and was hung up. Here we go guys, we're on our way up to the top deck now. Hope you guys are enjoying the the more in-depth tour of the Airspace hangar. This event was £15. It is open to IWM members only, which I've become one now. Sorry, that stairs have killed me. The event was £15 for this, but it is worth every penny, and I'd encourage many of you as possible to watching this now to come along and have a look at the aircraft they're opening, because it is amazing. It's an achievement, it's an experience you won't get anywhere else, so please come down and have a look. This aircraft here, as everyone will know, is the famous Concorde. This Concorde is one of the 6 prototypes built. This one was a test for passengers and also a test for radar equipment and emergency equipment. You'll see on the edge of the wing there, it has extended ice strips, just down there, if my camera will zoom in. Go in between the railing and the tail of the TSR-2. This aircraft was also extensively used in testing icing on the wings. As we see, it is called Ice 74 on Miss Moses Lake. The aircraft was then brought to Duxford and has been in here. Well, obviously it was stored outside for a little while and has been in here since. This is the Avro York. The Avro York was built by Avro, same company that built the Vulcan, seen there, and the Lancaster, seen over at the back there. The Avro York was built as a cargo aircraft, and this one here is operated by Dan Air. As we see, it has the wings and the engines, basically the whole integral structure of a Lancaster, with the fuselage being modified for cargo. The cockpit is the same. Unfortunately I can't get in there, they have closed it off now. They closed it off and the museum closed this evening. But this is operated by Dan Air and was used as a cargo plane as previously stated. Bit of an interesting one. The aircraft carriers Rolls-Royce Merlins, exactly the same as the Lancaster. There's actually a little thing going. The Battle of Britain Memorial Flight have actually come up here before and taken parts off of this, which is why they have one engine exposed. They have actually taken parts out of the engine to use on the flying Lancaster. This aircraft here, as everyone may know, is the famous de Havilland Mosquito. This aircraft here is TA719. It was built too late to see operational service and was used as a target tug for basically for towing dummy aircraft for the RAF and gunnery schools to be shot at. The Mosquito had a different variety of roles, including bombing, fighting, or fighter, a bomber, a reconnaissance aircraft, a torpedo bomber, and aircraft tug. I know I did a history lesson on Lancaster earlier, but I just had to come up and see it again. It's a beautiful aircraft and is just a fantastic bomber, and this is a tribute to many of those crews that unfortunately passed away and gave up their lives flying these aircraft. This here is the cockpit of a Hawker Hunter. This cockpit section was originally part of a N250, which was a Hunter F6 built by Fokker for the Royal Netherlands Air Force. It was bought by Hawker Siddeley in 1968 and converted into a two-seat trainer. This conversion involved replacing the whole cockpit. With its new cockpit, the aircraft was sold to the Indian Air Force. This cockpit section was presented to the Science Museum and was acquired by Duxford in 1996. Let's have a look. Fantastic stuff. It's a full cockpit of a Hunter. Let's try. There we go. Sorry, I do apologise for the flash. Okay, this here is a Avro Anson Mark 1. This is N48. Whoa. Obviously there'll be two people sat here. Navigator, the wireless operator will be sat here. There's actually a video coming up, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, of me going inside a Lancaster cockpit. It's a replica. I'll explain a bit more when it happens. I'll have to get up to the museum and do that. I'll try and take Noodle with me. She can film it because I suck at filming. It's amazing all the amount of batteries and stuff that keep these things going. See, oxygen bags, all sorts of stuff to keep the crew alive and breathing basically throughout the flights. Okay, here underneath me, sorry, above me, not underneath me. I'm underneath it. Behind me here is the Avro Lancaster. This is KB889. This aircraft was one number of... Here you go guys, I do apologise to the lack of my face. I am sweating like a pig. Here we have the Avro Vulcan. Yes. Yes. And this aircraft above me is the English Electric Cranberry. Sorry. This aircraft is the English Electric Cranberry. Flipping heck.